to the heavyweights. Friday night fights presented by Miller High Life. Paolo Vidoz and Nick Nurse. And there's Nick Nurse from the Bronx in New York City. 31 years of age, 245 pounds, 7-4-1, 5 knockouts. He has been knocked out twice. And Paolo Vidoz, 31 years of age, from Italy, 229 pounds, 6-0, 4 knockouts, won a bronze medal in the super heavyweight division of the 2000 Olympic Games. Scheduled for 6, Vidoz has never been past 4. Rafael Ramos is our referee for the 6-round showdown. On a cool night in San Antonio, temperatures hovering around 60 degrees, a little wind in the air. And we're set for round 1. Vidoz trains in Nutley, New Jersey. All of his fights, or I should say 5 of his 6 bouts have been in the United States.
There's different ways to go about the defensive art of getting away from punches. The way Vidoz likes to go about it is to block and look to counter off the blocks. Vidoz has a good left hand. He'll take the jab and then go to the body with the left hook. Nurse has been in with the better opposition so far in his career. There's that good left hand being displayed by Vidoz.
The defense there by Vidoz.
This cool weather you mentioned can be a factor in these fights outdoors here, especially when there's quick knockouts. All of a sudden, one of these fighters can get a quick call in their dressing room because of a quick stoppage in the earlier fights and told that they have to go on quicker than they expected and not get a chance to warm up.
Oh, he's had that 3 times tonight.
When guys can't warm up and the weather's a little colder, exciting things or bad things for somebody can happen early. There's some counter-punching by Vidoz, trying to show another dimension other than going forward here. Vidoz usually a good body puncher, so far deciding not to go to the body. Maybe because he's the taller man, he'd rather stay on the outside, like he's doing there.
With a good stiff jab.
That's the way you take advantage of your height, is on the outside with that good jab.
And he has about 3 inches on Nicholas Nurse. Good round 1 for Vidoz.
Welcome to the annual ESPN the Magazine Sports Mascot Picnic. Every year, pro and college mascots come from all over to talk about how much they love ESPN the Magazine and show off their free fleece pullovers. You know more mascots subscribe to ESPN the Magazine than any other sports magazine in the world? Hey, here's the college guys. Fellas, who's your ESPN the Magazine favorite? They're so into Dick Vitale. And every new subscriber gets this ESPN the Magazine fleece pullover absolutely free. These high-quality fleece pullovers are extra large and roomy. Fits all shapes and sizes, from devils to penguins.
Subscribe now. Get 26 issues 1 year for just $1 an issue. That's 71% off the newsstand price.
Hey, if you're a sports mascot or simply a regular human who loves sports, pick up the phone and call for ESPN the Magazine and your free fleece pullover.
1-800-607-5454.
In the corner of Paolo Vidoz, they told him, put your punches together, throw combinations. Did a good job in the first round using his jab. Threw 34 jabs, landed 13 of them. They want him to throw some more punches.
Well, there's an old saying, if you can hit a guy with your left jab, which Vidoz showed he can do that last round, you can hit him with your other punches. And that's exactly the right advice coming from the corner of Vidoz.
Doubled up the left. Nurse tried the counter right over the top. Hey, what about Vidoz's defense and his movement? At times he shows some subtleness.
He should be able to show some subtleness. Vidoz had many amateur fights. Vidoz turning pro late. But unlike a person turning pro late, a lot of times you say, hey, they turned pro late. They just decided they wanted to get serious about boxing. They just decided they were going to get into boxing, maybe. Not the case with Vidoz. He was fighting all the time in international amateur competition.
Vidoz just missed with a right hand.
Vidoz trying to take advantage of the shorter Nurse, lead Nurse into a counterpunch. On the other hand, talking about Vidoz turning pro late, but being active for all those years in the amateurs, in the top echelons of the amateurs. Nurse turned pro late, but did not have a big amateur background. And was not continually competing, especially on those levels. Advantage, Vidoz.
Well, he's controlling the action through the first 2 rounds of this fight against Nick Nurse.
Vidoz has a very good left hook to the body, Bob. He just showed it about 20 seconds ago, and it affected Nurse. When he gets back to his corner, Vidoz might be told the next round, try that body a little bit more. You might like what you get.
Final seconds of the second round. That means that we will see a 3rd round for the first time tonight. Vidoz in control against Nurse. Well, obviously, Brian and Max and you and I have spent a lot of time talking about Zab Judah and Costa Tszyu. A couple things that I want to point out. Obviously, Zab Judah should be fined for what he did with Jane 80 and then throwing the stool. I can understand a little bit of it. You know, we saw Sunday night in New Orleans, Kyle Turley of the Saints get caught up in the moment and throw that helmet against the Jets. He has apologized. I want to give his father, Yoel, a lot of credit because his son lost for the first time, Teddy. And while there was pandemonium in that camp, he really showed to be a true professional. He did everything he could to not get caught up in the emotion and try to keep his son calm. And I think Yoel Judah deserves a round of applause for that.
I agree with you. Look, if you know Judah, and I know Judah since he was a little kid with his brothers coming up in Gleason's gym, he has a good family, a mother and father. They've taught him to be a man. They've brought him up to be a good human being. There's no doubt about it. And you know what? Judah has to be punished, but he's not a bad kid. I know the kid. He's not a malicious kid. He's not an evil kid. He's a kid who had a lot of pride, got the title taken away, and he lost himself. And he used very, very poor judgment in a moment there. And there's no doubt about it. You have to keep control of your sport. So he has to be punished accordingly. But let me just say to the fans out there, give him a second chance. This is not a bad kid. Hopefully he will learn from this. He will grow from this. Hey, we all make mistakes when we're young.
Shame, though, on Gary Shaw of Main Events and his comments in the locker room when they asked him about Zab about an apology, and he had the audacity to say the referee owes Zab an apology. He owes nobody an apology. He should be more mature than that. That was sad. A sad comment. Take the loss like a man.
One of the things that you just hope that he will mature, that this experience will teach him and help him grow up. Everybody goes through growing up pains. One of the things I would like to see is his entourage to get a little smaller. Because to me, that's an indicator. When you have a huge entourage, you're a young man like that, you get distracted. Less control, less discipline.
It's not a good thing when Mike Tyson is the last person in your ear.
No, you don't have to be the amazing Kreskin. You remember him, Bob. He used to be able to tell the future. You don't have to be the amazing Kreskin to know that when you saw Tyson whispering in his ear that there was a chance that, hey, that's not a great advisor. Maybe some good things might not happen to Judah. I mean, after all, if the President of the United States during World War II had Tyson as an advisor, we might all be speaking a little German right now.
Well, we thought that Vidoz would be able to set up that left hand, Teddy. Nurse has done a decent job of avoiding it in this third round.
One thing I like about Vidoz, I've seen him a little one-dimensional in the past, where he tries to get you one way, walk forward, go to that body. He notices that he's in there with a little bit better opposition tonight, which he is. And he notices he has a height advantage. So he's trying to act appropriately and accordingly and take advantage of his height. That means be on the outside, use that jab more. Use a little movement to change distance and walk Nurse into something. Nurse, a good, solid opponent.
Advertising on cable builds businesses.
The response is phenomenal, as a matter of fact. Our business has increased probably about 20% above what we were already doing. I feel that I've had at least a 50% return on my investment, if not more. And I will continue to advertise as long as it continues to bring me a profit.
Another success story brought to you by AT&T Media Services.
These days, you may find yourself asking, how can I help? One way is to buy or sell an item on the auction for America at eBay.com. 100% of the proceeds from items sold here will go to the families, victims, and communities affected by the September 11th tragedy. So we urge you, if you want to help, search your home and your heart and visit the auction for America at eBay.com.
In San Antonio, Texas, outdoors at the Sunset Station. Glad you can join us for Friday Night Fights, presented by Miller High Life. Paolo Vidoz in the white trunks and Nick Nurse from the Bronx, New York. No knockdowns so far in the fight. Take a look at the numbers through 3 rounds. And Vidoz has been the better of the two. Uses his jab there. Nurse may be busier, but Vidoz more accurate. The right hand to the body there from Vidoz.
Although Vidoz knows that he can win, or at least has a good idea that he can win this fight by now with his left jab alone. His obligation as a fighter, as an entertainer, is bringing him closer to Nurse, seeing if he can do some more damage. Seeing if he can get the kind of win on television that makes the future prospects, that makes people want to see you again and again. In other words, he understands that it's not just winning all the time, especially on television. It's winning as impressively as you can when you're at this point in your career.
Vidoz digs in with some nice hooks to the body.
And you like to see that temperament in a fight. Instead of just saying, I'm playing safe. Don't get me wrong, you have to be safe and responsible in that ring, and technically solid and smart. It has to be a mix. But as a fighter who wants to be one of the people that steps up to the plate, one of the people that separates himself in the heavyweight division someday, you have to mix that with a little bit of taking chances in an appropriate fashion. You have to put fannies in the seats. You see a change in the attitude of Nurse. Not pressing the fight the way he was the first couple of rounds. That's one of the reasons why the instinct of Vidoz is to see his man going downhill. He figures I'll get close and I'll push him downhill a little bit. Give him a little help.
Final seconds of the fourth round. Vidoz in control. He'll go to the fifth round for the first time in his career.
America needed a hero, a slugger stepped to the plate. The life and times of Hank Greenberg. This true story traces the rise of a young Jewish athlete from the Bronx to the heights of baseball superstardom. Hank Greenberg was the first player to win the American League's MVP award for 2 different positions, first base in 1935 and left field in 1940. In 1938, he fell 2 homers short of Babe Ruth's league record of 60. In 1956, Hank was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. The Dallas Observer says that the life and times of Hank Greenberg hits a home run. This award-winning DVD is loaded with special features such as director's commentary, Hank Greenberg's statistics and biography, interviews with celebrities and former players, and much more. The life and times of Hank Greenberg. Now you can own the unforgettable and inspiring story of one of baseball's greatest heroes. To order the life and times of Hank Greenberg, call the number on your screen. Just $24.95 for 1 DVD plus $4.95 shipping and handling. Order now.
Well, here, Vidoz sees that Nurse goes into a corner, gives him an opportunity to show his wares, and he does. Up and down, body and head. Good form by Vidoz.
So the first time in Vidoz's career, he's participating in a 5th round. In his previous 6 pro bouts, all the bouts have stopped within 4 rounds. You see the power punches through 4. Vidoz with the edge. He has the edge in every category.
Nurse came out there trying the first couple of rounds, but now is starting to take the posture of a game quit almost. A little bit. And what I mean by those words is a guy who doesn't give up, but a guy who stops trying to win. Doesn't fall down, but doesn't take the chances to win.
What about the punch selection of Vidoz? Do you like the way he mixes it up?
Hey, yes, I do. And he's showing that as you speak. Up and down, head and body. I like the way every once in a while Vidoz will step out, change his range. I also like the fact
Doubles up the left.
I also like the fact that Vidoz has come into this fight at the lightest weight of his career, 229 pounds. Shows me that his trainer, Jose Rosario, who is also the head of the New Jersey Amateur Boxing Association, is doing a good job, both technically and physically, getting Vidoz to drop in weight steadily and gradually since he's turned pro.
You know, it's funny, Teddy. I always have casual fans come up to me and say, who are the young heavyweight prospects? You know, again, you got the Bajados, and you know, you can look at other weight divisions and see young guys who are on the way. Heavyweights, when people ask me, I say, the real young heavyweight prospects are playing college football and basketball somewhere. But this guy, Vidoz, is he a young prospect, even though he's 31? Is he a guy that is going to get himself on the way someplace?
You can fit him in a spot, and you won't take that long. You mentioned age, and you should. 31 years old. That's going to scare some people. Doesn't have to scare you with Vidoz. He's probably had about 200, 300 amateur fights, as you said. Won a bronze medal in 2000 in Sydney. So he's already fought good fighters. He can move quickly. give him a couple more fights, little better level, get his feet under him, and then you can start the moves. You were talking about the ability to set a man up. I like the way he set up Nurse on the ropes before. Left hand to the body, right hand to the head.
He'll get to set him up for 3 more minutes on Friday Night Fight.
Change the face of digital photography with the Intel Pentium 4 processor, the center of your digital world.
Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon.
We're fat, we're bald, we're old, we're white, and one of us is blind.
Pardon the interruption. 5:30 p.m. Eastern, weekdays on ESPN, and again at 7 on ESPN2.
It's not pretty.
Sunday, it's a classic football rivalry. Top-rated QB Rich Gannon.
Gannon surveys, wide open, touchdown.
And the AFC's best Raiders collide with Seattle's freight train, Sean Alexander. And the Seahawks. Raiders, Seahawks, 8:30 Sunday on ESPN.
Well, you were talking about setting a man up. Watch here. Little step out by Vidoz, and then right back in with that right hand. Thinking, measuring, being effective.
6th and final round underway. No knockdowns in the fight. Teddy and I both have Vidoz up 5 rounds to zip. See the numbers from the 5th round. Again, Vidoz in control. Joe Carnicelli, Jack Obermeier at the controls of CompuBox tonight. Nurse blocked some of that.
In Nurse's last 3 fights, he's had 2 losses and a technical draw. And other than those little desperate shots that he's throwing, he is acting like a guy who's just hanging in there a little bit. A lot of that has to do with the way Vidoz has acted. Being the boss, taking charge.
Well, we started tonight with Rolanda Andrews knocking out Mia St. John in the 2nd round. Tony Ayala Jr. stopped Manuel Lopez in the 2nd round. 22-year-old Gabriel Elizondo stopped Guillermo Puga. Tough guy Puga. Gave Elizondo some problems, but he did get stopped in the 2nd round. And Rene Pacheco and Mike Trejo in the main event for the IBF Flyweight Championship. Under a minute to go in this heavyweight bout. Paolo Vidoz, the 2000 Olympic bronze medalist in the super heavyweight division, and Nick Nurse, all Vidoz.
As we mentioned, this was a step up for Vidoz. Because of that, he's getting a chance to, as you mentioned, go into the 6th round for the first time in his career, which is important in the development of a fighter. Nurse has been here before, 6 rounds, 3 times.
With little success, losing 2 and having a technical draw on the other one.
Vidoz has slowed down this last round. But that's why when you pick the spot for your young fighter, or in this case, your 31-year-old young fighter to step up, you want it to be with the right guy.
Well, there's the bell to end it. Vidoz and Nick Nurse. Nurse didn't offer much resistance. Vidoz goes 6 rounds for the first time. Should get an easy decision victory. We'll get the judges' scorecards when we return to San Antonio after this timeout on Friday Night Fights.
The torch has been passed and a new generation of fighters has emerged.
Get the shots off right away.
With the selfless dedication to the sport that their idols once had.
You had the dream, now let's make it happen.
Tough young scrappers eager to make their name and hungry to make their mark.
144 store today for a convenient location near you.
Welcome back to Friday Night Fights presented by Miller High Life in San Antonio, Texas. Nick Nurse, Paolo Vidoz finished with their bout. Vidoz landed 40% of his jabs, 69 of 173. Teddy Atlas's scorecard. Teddy had it 59-55. I had it a shutout, 60-54 for Vidoz. The official judges' scorecards, our ring announcer, James Echeverria.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecard in this heavyweight bout here tonight. Judge Elizondo scores at 60-53. Judge Crocker scores at 60-53. And Judge Ovalle scores at 59-55. Your winner by unanimous decision from Gorizia, Italy, the Gladiator, Paolo Vidoz.
So, unanimous decision for Paolo Vidoz. The Olympian from Italy improves to 7-0. Nick Nurse loses for the 5th time in his professional career. Our main event, Rene Pacheco, Mike Trejo for Pacheco's IBF Flyweight Championship still to come. But first, we check back in with Brian and Max.
Bob, Teddy, thank you.